Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading for you, tuning in to the day's energies, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, what's the overall energy of today's reading? Thank you. What's hidden from the viewer that would be helpful? Thank you. Outcome and advice. Thank you. All right, let's turn these cards over, how they fell. All right, in the overall energy, wow, we have the Ace of Wands reverse and the Ace of Pentacles reverse, challenged by the Eight of Cups. Or is it the Six of Cups? It's the Six of Cups. Sorry. The writing is right on that verge of needing my glasses. Where are my glasses? We've got the Taj Mahal. In the back, a white, Bengal tiger. And these beautiful flowers. All right. So there's a lack of excitement, a lack of joy, a lack of spark. And so there's a missed opportunity. This is new energy with the aces, two aces, both in reverse. Feels like there's no excitement around a new opportunity. No, it doesn't spark anything within you. The challenge is your past. Six of Cups. Challenged by family, past disappointments. That's what it feels like. Something happened in the past that is creating a lack of interest, a lack of joy, a lack of trying something again because of some past hurt. I get that. This might be my reading. Just kidding. All right. Why is the Ace of Wands in reverse? Why is there a lack of spark? Eight of Swords, Ten of Cups reverse. Yeah. Can't see. Whoops, this one. Eight of Swords. This is a limited belief system as I see it. Swords I see as upper chakras, faster moving energies, very communicative. Swords, communication, ideas, beliefs. And with the Eight of Swords, there's some limited belief that's keeping this person believing that they're stuck. But if you really see, the binds, the ties that are around them, the bindings, they could cut with that sword. She's got a blindfold on. It feels like she could get out of this situation if she wanted to, but her belief systems have her stuck. Limiting beliefs. All right, and then Ten of Cups in reverse is my card. So Ten of Cups upright is my card for these people who have been through all of these cups. They have experienced every emotion there is to experience, the ups, the downs, the incredible devastations, and yet they're in the real world and they're choosing to be happy anyway. It's a real power move to choose to be happy, to allow what you've gone through to shape who you are, but not allowing what you've gone through to keep you sad or limited in your emotions. So Ten of Cups in reverse is someone who's overwhelmed by emotions, upset, So these cards are clarifying the Ace of Wands in reverse. There's some limited belief that someone has, like I'm stuck. Nobody cares about me. I'm all alone. Those are belief systems that, and if you keep believing them, instead of getting yourself unstuck, instead of changing those belief systems, then it feels like whatever the belief systems are that this person has, it's keeping them miserable, upset. It's keeping them in their misery, keeping them from perceiving an opportunity, from all this water energy, overwhelmed by emotions. It's so when I've been in this energy, very watery, overwhelmed with emotions, then I can't get the spark, because a spark needs fire. And with all that water, it just easily puts out anything. So when I've been in this kind of miserable state of mind and really miserable in my emotions, I remember feeling very victimized, very unloved, uncared for, and it was kind of perpetuating and keeping me in kind of a learned helplessness, kind of waiting for someone to come save me, rescue me, get me unstuck. It feels like those sparks of ideas, an Ace of Wands would be a spark that coming from inside the person to give them an idea. But it feels like whoever I'm tuned into, it's so loud, the story of stuckness and the hurt and upset and woundedness. It feels like these cards are kind of feeding each other. I mean, the more miserable, the more stuck, and the more the beliefs are become concrete and more real and more stuck and more, it feels like, and ignoring any new ideas, any excitement. Okay, let's see what the Ace of Pentacles in reverse is in regards to. Wow, that was fast. Nine of Cups reversed, Fool card. Again, 10 of Cups reverse, 9 of Cups reverse. I'm getting the picture that there's just so much of an overwhelm, emotional overwhelm, out of alignment, that's pulling whoever this reading's for out of alignment. And there's a need to take a leap of faith in a new direction with a new opportunity. But it feels like I'm getting yet again, so there's some emotions around the past, something that happened in the past, challenged by the Six of Cups, and these emotions that's stopping whoever this reading is for from having a new story, telling a new story. Let's look at what's hidden. Well, let's clarify the Six of Cups. Magician reversed. Six of Cups coming out as a challenge to these energies. Yeah, I feel like I'm talking to somebody who's creating what they don't want. So, you, viewer, all of us, we are extensions of Source. We're in this amazing time-space reality where it's so dense, the energies are so dense that we've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten our divinity. This place is purposely very confusing. It takes us away from our perceptions, our reality. Tells us that what we're perceiving is wrong, that other people have the reality correctly. It's very confusing. It's hard to figure things out. It's hard to recognize who you are, that you are an extension of Source. and so is everyone else. And as an extension of Source, your perspective is very valuable, necessary, right? And what I perceive about this reality is it's a creative reality. We are creators. We are creating our reality. We're creating who we prefer to be. If we're more conscious, and we're creating our reality. But there's something here about not understanding, and so not creating what you prefer. It feels like this message is for somebody who is confused by that, feeling stuck in a story, stuck in emotions, in a very stuck place is what I'm getting. And when you're so overwhelmed and so stuck and in a mindset that's getting you more of what you don't prefer, it's important to remember that you, not as a punishment or a aha, but that you are the creator of your reality, to remind you how powerful you are. That maybe in this lifetime you wanted to explore losing yourself, completely losing yourself, abandoning yourself, not remembering who you are. This feels like this reading is for someone who's very stuck, very pulled away from their own alignment. Like a rubber band, you've been pulling back, not creating for yourself, not taught, not understanding how to love yourself and care for yourself. The thing is, once you really pull back on that rubber band, expanding, exploring dark energies, shadows, when you finally let go, the rebound, the quick, once you let go of that story, let go of the emotions in the story that are keeping you in a very stuck place, disempowered, where you're creating against yourself, then once you let go of that old story, of those emotions, very quickly, that rubber band where you've been exploring difficulty, you let go, there's a quick rebound that can happen. All right, let's look into what's hidden. We have the Seven of Pentacles reversed and the High Priestess reversed. Seven of Pentacles upright is my card for whatever you focus on grows. Literally, in this reality, very creative, wherever your consciousness goes, it can change and shift things. This is in science. It's quantum physics. When your consciousness changes reality. Quantum physics. This isn't spiritual mumbo jumbo. Well, maybe a little bit of that too, but it's part of this reality. And so if you don't want something to grow, you have to pull your focus, your attention on what you don't prefer and focus on what you do prefer. So it feels like someone who's challenged to create a new beginning because of your past holding so heavily onto your past is right up in your grill. There's a need to choose differently. Start focusing on what you do prefer. Choose discipline, mindfulness, recognizing, oh, That's my old story. I don't want to focus on that. That's not helping. By focusing on a story of my stuckness, my victimness, my hurts, I'm getting more of the same. And so as a creator of my reality, I'm looking to get myself unstuck. I'm looking for ideas and inspiration. I'm being mindful about what I'm focusing on. And if it's something that I do not prefer, to stop focusing on that. This is my story of you're riding your mountain bike down a trail. Do, 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 do. All of a sudden, there's a boulder in the middle of the trail. If you focus on this boulder in the middle of the trail, like, oh my gosh, I don't have the boulder, I'm going to fall over it, you go right into what you're focusing, what you're looking at. This isn't spiritual bypassing, so I'm not saying if there's an issue, you go, la, 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 I'm just going to keep going on the path and ignore the problem. No, that doesn't work either. You go right into the boulder. There's a switch in that is advisable where you're going down the path on your mountain bike and you see the boulder in the middle of the road. You clock it, but you don't let it mean something, and you figure out, then do I go to the left? Do I go to the right? Do I bunny hop over? Do I stop my bike and walk around? There's so many options. Okay. High Priestess reversed. A lack of intuition. So, when I have been without my intuition is when I am in a story of my powerlessness and in my emotions. Overwhelm, emotional overwhelm. When I am in an expanded state, even when I'm in a fantastically overjoyed, just dreamy, wonderful, that is an expanded state. When I'm miserable, when I'm upset, when I'm overwhelmed, recognizing, ooh, I'm in an expanded state. I'm in an emotional state. And if you start creating beliefs from an expanded state, they're usually not correct. They're warped by all that water energy. So they might not be accurate. So when I am in overwhelm, I recognize self-care. I need to take care of myself. I need to take care of my emotions, get grounded, regulate, feel my emotions, be present. Don't push them away. They're coming up for a reason. So feeling my emotions, not just intellectualizing. That's an important step to be able to identify, well, I think I'm feeling a little frustrated, and I'm feeling disappointment and regrets, and I'm feeling abandoned and left out. And so that's an important step to be able to identify the different feelings other than bad. To get curious about what those feelings are. But a lot of times that's just intellectualizing those emotions. And what I'm inviting you to is embodying, getting into your lower chakras, not just kind of intellectualizing your emotions, but really feeling them. Upper chakras have a higher frequency. They talk. They're real talkity talk. But from heart chakra on down, it's quiet. It's feelings. It's a feeling space. And so it takes time to really fully feel and be present. What am I feeling? Where am I feeling it in my body? A lot of times this type of work is not me sitting straight, upright, but me moving. lower chakras have a lot more physical aspects, and so it helps me move through energies, help feel and allow those energies to be expressed, to feel them. Also with overwhelm, making sure that nobody else's energies in your space, that you are not taking on everybody else's emotions. The moment I feel overwhelmed in my emotions, I'm like, okay, even when things are very difficult and challenging, when I'm just working with my emotions, I can manage. But overwhelm is an instant indicator, like a red light going ding, 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 ding. I've got someone else's emotions, someone else's energy in my space, and it's causing overwhelm. And so I do energetic separations, pull all my energy back, remove all energy that's not for me, so I can be grounded, be present. That's where all your power is, present energy. People think that if you're psychic, that you'll be able to perceive everything, know everything, and that that's where the answer is. It's being present, being okay, and learning how to be present with what arises. Okay, tell me more about why the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, another seven. Seven of Cups. Yeah, so pulling your focus off of what you don't prefer and focusing on what you do prefer, your options. Lovely. Love that message. And yeah, not every option is 100. But getting to pull your attention away from what you don't prefer and focus on whatever you would prefer. Why is the High Priestess in reverse in what's hidden? There's something here about a lack of potential, feeling, because if you've chronically over time are disconnected, if you've been in overwhelm and blocked thinking you're stuck in the past, then your intuition, it feels like you can't tune into your intuition. And so you can't tune into all those guidance, support, new ideas coming in to support a new you, a new story. Justice reversed, Sun reversed, Seven of Swords reversed, Queen of Swords, Page of Pentacles. This feels like you've gone through and experienced injustices. Those are valid. Real injustices that have created confusion and unhappiness, maybe even for some of you since childhood. Feels like you see these injustices. There's this ability or this invitation to discern. Allow what you've learned from these injustices to be wisdom. What have you learned from these experiences? What have the past injustices and the confusion, instead of a stuck story, instead of a victim story, how can you shift that? Shift your stories, shift the perspective, allow what you've gone through to create, to help you learn about who you would prefer to be and how and what type of life you would prefer to have. There's some type of beginning again, allowing what you've gone through to work for you instead of pile up on top of you. Tell me about justice reversed. All right, so Knight of Swords reversed. This might be the negative mentality. So in my life, I have experienced a lot of injustices. And for a long time, I allowed those injustices to kind of create a story about myself that was keeping me wounded. There was a story that the people, I had a belief system that the people who hurt me needed to be the ones that healed me, healed the upset. And that kept me for decades waiting for the people who hurt me to come back and repair, create justice. And that's just not going to happen. Another story I had was recognizing, once I recognized that someone was not fair, was creating injustices for me, there became like a revenge scenario. I need them to pay. I need people to see what they did before I can move on and be happy. And so that belief was keeping me stuck and miserable. My happiness was predicated on someone else's being found out, being seen, being perceived as the villain. But by that very belief, based in upset, was keeping me stuck in my upset. Creating more victim mentality, more opportunities for people to harm me, take advantage of my vulnerability. And because I had a lens that I was a victim, that eventually everybody would become a villain in my story. It wasn't until I realized that I was the common denominator in all of these stories, and that maybe I can change my story. And it took a while because I had so much momentum, decades of victim energy, and I had been victimized too, really hurt. But how can I let that victim story die down? How can I allow the experiences I switched? How can I allow the experiences I've gone through to shift me into the version of myself I prefer to be and have the life I prefer to lead? And letting go of needing someone to get theirs before I was happy. Detaching from that was part of the letting go, so I could focus on me, on creating the version of me I prefer. All right. In the outcome and advice, we have the Five of Pentacles. Abandonment, left out in the cold. Why is the Five of Pentacles here? I also had a lot of abandonment issues, an abandonment wound that led to abandoning myself in hopes that no one would abandon me. I abandoned myself. All right, anything else? What's coming up? Why is the Five of Pentacles in the outcome and advice? What does the viewer, whoever this reading is for, what would be helpful? feels like the first thing I'm getting is to address the abandonment wound. So you stop abandoning yourself, to stop, there's some attachment energies here as well. Healing your broken heart. Okay. So, Three of Swords reversed. There's something here about self-forgiveness being at the root of this. It has been my experience because you don't have to do any of this. This is just a trajectory, a healing journey if you are wanting to change from this reality to create something you prefer. I've been really interested in this lifetime how to let go of this story, how to change my story, how to change how I show up, how to change my experiences. And I spent a lot of time blaming, looking at devil gods, blaming the people around me and not looking at myself, which is where everything is. And once I started forgiving myself, then things really, it's a journey. And so at some point, when you're ready, not a moment before, once you're so tired and realizing that waiting for someone else to get their payment is their dues, justice is an endless waiting game and a miserable way of existing. Once you're tired of that, really tired of the whole thing, bored, ready to let go, then at that point, that's when I started apologizing, my consciousness apologizing to my body, to my mental body, to my emotions. I am so sorry I abandoned myself. I'm so sorry that I chose people that did not choose me. I'm so sorry that I stayed in environments with people who didn't even like me or care about me. I'm so sorry that I didn't understand how to create and maintain boundaries to keep myself safe. I'm so sorry that I chose people who were hurting me. And I'd sit with each of those feelings. There's also, once I got to that point where I started just listing any hurt that came up instead of blame and shifting it onto someone else. I'm sorry I let them hurt you. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. I'm sorry that I kept choosing some people who hurt you. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. And so I'm giving myself the apologies, and it goes for days and weeks, and it just released so much shame. And then I started also, well, the same time that I'm apologizing to myself, to all aspects, you don't have to carry that hurt anymore. That will never happen again because I'm changed. And I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And then I started with mantras. I'm worthy. I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of connection. I'm worthy of relationships. I'm worthy of family. I'm worthy of community. I'm worthy of friendships. I'm worthy of forgiveness. I'm worthy of compassion and grace. I'm worthy of care, support. And would go through my days forgiving myself when those feelings come up and that hurt and they hurt me. I am so sorry that I created that, co-created that drama. I am so sorry. I didn't understand. All right. And moving on. It looks like there's a necessary step to clear up the confusion. Almost like everybody's leaving your environment feeling abandoned, maybe literally being abandoned too. Feels very confusing. So you could see something, so you could see a different perspective, get out of that lesson. The lesson that I was stuck in was the limited belief and my upset of the story. I'm alone, everybody's left me, I've been completely abandoned, nobody cares about me, everybody takes advantage of me. I had like all these stories going on, and they were not stories I preferred. I didn't like those stories. And so I had to see that I was recreating those stories by staying in that mindset, by not processing through the emotions, but blaming everybody else for where I'm at and the emotions and the hurt. It looks like with Four of Cups in reverse that you've given life, you've given something, you've tried something time and time again, but it feels like with this change, with a change of mindset, with a change that comes from inside the house, that there's a new day can dawn, but there's also a need to abandon, to let go of those old stories. I don't tell those old stories anymore. I don't talk about things. I don't talk about my past in the same way. I talk about the past, for the most part, from a very empowered position, from not where I'm trying to hide my unpopular bad moves or shadow or anything, but just owning and accepting all of it. When you own and accept all of what's happened, then you can really start changing things. If you deny the reality, if you can't have that, then it's kind of Eight of Swords, like uncomfortable truths about yourself are part of the journey to greater understanding. So you can forgive yourself, so you can have compassion for that version of you that made the mistake that you don't want to see. Until you can hold space for you and the mistakes that you've made, how are you ever going to have grace and compassion for anyone else and their mistakes? This feels very profound. What's happening? The shift that's, if you're interested. So, wow. That's your reading. I hope that's helpful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care. Oh, thank you all so much for all your comments and all your likes and sharing, doing all the things to really push these videos out so more and more people can see them. So, all right. Thank you.